I'll keep hold of this so you don't knock it over. During the video, he came to me and said, can I go on the stage with you? I think we started something last week and it might not end for a while. So anyway, okay. Say hello to Robin. Hello. Say, I like your boots. They look beautiful, don't they? Right, okay. Guys, we're going to carry on from the last 2 weeks, okay? You've been following us so far, then you already know where we're going with this, but I want to say something right at the start. Atheists are welcome here. There you go. How else are we going to fix you? No, I'm joking. But atheists are welcome here. Here's the thing, right? I appreciate people who are honest. And sometimes people who believe, we need atheists to keep us honest. We need atheists to kind of keep us on track and stop us getting into believing silly things that we haven't even thought about. Sometimes someone needs to point and say the emperor's got no clothes, if you remember that old tale. We actually need people to say, I don't agree with you, so think about this. So I really appreciate atheists. I really do. And we've been talking the last few weeks about doubt. Remember 2 weeks ago? Shh. Oi, if you're on stage, you've got to stand still. Do this. Do this. That's it. Okay, you've got to watch them. Don't let them talk, okay? Nobody talking, okay? So point at them. Point at them and say, no talking. You've been told. Right, so now you're going to stand like this and watch out, okay? You watch for them talking. Not even your mum. Oh, he's going to tell his mummy off because she's been talking. Wow, there you go. Selling out his own mother. Wow. Okay, all right, okay. So anyway, stand like this, stay still. Okay, stay like that. Right, okay. Guys, we've been talking about doubt. 2 weeks ago, we said doubts are okay. Everybody has doubts. Doubting Thomas wasn't a villain. And he didn't believe Jesus until he put his finger, I mean, it's a bit weird, but that's what he had to do, right? Okay, doubting Thomas wasn't a villain, and neither are you if you have doubts. That's okay. But what we said was, mind open, eyes open. If you have faith and you don't look around, then you have blind faith and you're a fool. But if you have doubts and you don't open your eyes and look at the evidence and have an open mind to think about it, then it's blind doubt and you're a fool. There's a difference between unbelief, which is just, nope, don't believe that, don't care what you say or do. That's just unbelief, and that's just stupid. But doubting, that's okay. Doubting is okay. Just have your eyes open and your mind open to consider what might be true. Now, here's the thing, and here's the problem with me saying atheists are welcome here. I've never actually met an atheist. I've met a lot of people who say they are until you start talking about what they do or don't believe. And you find that atheism tends to go away pretty quickly. Because even atheists... No, you're talking. No. Just this. Okay? Right, there you go. Right, so... right. He'd make a good bouncer. Right. So... all atheists believe in God. They just don't know it. You see, at the same time, and here's the problem... everybody who says they believe in God, sooner or later they act like they don't. But everybody who says they don't, sooner or later, in fact all the time, they act like they do. Let me explain a little further. I want you to, right, okay, Robin, look at them, okay, get your hands out in the, like this. I want you to do this. Right, okay, so you're going to follow him, okay? We're going to do it, okay? Right, guys, I want you to imagine. I'm keeping you. You're brilliant. Right, okay. Right, so I want you to imagine never having to worry about anything ever again. Nothing. Imagine. Whatever you're stressing about now, no, doesn't bother you anymore. I mean, everything's good. Everything. It's just no worries. It's all good. It's easy. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Right. Okay. Who do we point at? Paul. I would have known he'd be the bass player. Did he? Okay, no talking. Right, there you go. All right, keep an eye. Right, okay, so just imagine, right? No worries ever about anything. Well, if you say that you are a believer, not a believer, a believer, then that shouldn't be something that you're imagining. It should be something that you're doing. Who is? Right, go and sit next to her and keep telling her not to talk, okay? Go on, you're a minder now. Go sit next to her. Go on. No, you're staying there? Okay, all right. Okay. For now, just take their names, okay? Just remember who it is and tell me at the end and I'll tell them off, okay? Cool? All right, cool. Right, so, anyway. Right, if you're a Christian, you shouldn't be worrying about anything ever because you were told not to. I mean, right, this is something that Jesus said. Jesus himself. And Jesus is God in a... Jesus is God in a... Okay, say it up, shut up. Say the whole thing, okay? Jesus is... God in a bod. So when Jesus said it, God said it. Right? Now, I'm assuming for a minute, let's just agree that Jesus existed and Jesus was God. Even if you don't believe that, just come with me for a minute on a journey, okay? Right, so Jesus himself, God himself said, therefore I tell you, do not worry. Shout, do not worry. There you go. He said, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, about your body, what you will wear. He said this. He said, do not worry. He said, look at the birds of the earth. Look at those beautiful birds. Right there they are. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Say what? You stay there. That's okay. You stay there. You can be quiet though. You can stay there. Okay. Right. Cool. Right. So he said, they don't sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? And here's the question. Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Jesus was great with coming up with these really simple questions that you go, oh, good grief, that's so simple but so true. Can you, by worrying, add 1 hour? Say 1 hour. Say 1 hour. 1 hour. Can any of you, by worrying, add 1 hour to your life? No, of course you can't. So why are you worrying? He goes on to say, and why do you worry about clothes? I could look at some people right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stare at the back wall so that no one thinks that this is aimed, okay? Because I always get accused of that. And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers in the field grow. They do not labor or spin, yet I tell you, not even Solomon, who, by the way, was a player. Don't even ask how many girlfriends that guy had on the go. I mean official royal girlfriends, as well as all his wives as well. Yeah, a lot of wives isn't enough, apparently. So, right, not even Solomon, the Mac Daddy of the Old Testament, in all his splendor, was dressed like one of these. And I'm just going to stop there for a minute. Robin, go, stop. Stop there for a minute. Think about this. I wonder how many of you are dressing to impress someone. I wonder how many of you are dressing to impress someone you don't even know who it is yet. But you know one day you're going to meet that someone and you've got to be dressed to impress. Right? Do this. Robin, go. Right? So you're worrying about, well, you never know when I'm going to meet him. And I'm going to say it's more the girls that worry about this than the boys, but the boys probably do as well. And so you worry every day. Today might be the day. I better spend 6 hours making this look perfect. What if, not only has God got someone in mind for you, but what if he even knows when you're going to meet and what you're going to look like? And he's okay with it. So that person, they're going to like you in whatever you're wearing the day they meet you. That's as planned out as everything else. So what you're worrying about, what you're going to wear. And do you know what? It might even be, and I've heard this story before, where, someone said, I met this girl, this woman, and God said to me, that's your future wife. And he said, get away from me, Satan. That's his response. I mean, good grief. If you look in the Bible, if you look in the Old Testament, you see, over here, come on, that's it, stay like that, okay. Right, you look in the book of Hosea, that's a book about this really holy guy who God told to marry a prostitute. And he didn't want to, but he did. At the time, he was like, nope. But he did, and it was a fantastic story. Go and read the book of Hosea. Seriously, it will make you cry. It's beautiful. But here's the thing. Maybe one day, girls, you're going to meet Mr. Right, and he's going to look at you and go, nope. But things are going to happen, and, a whole Hollywood movie romantic story about unexpected endings is going to come about, or whatever. Stop thinking, I need to look perfect today. I need to look perfect today. I need to look perfect today. You don't know what's going to happen today. Don't worry. This is really simple stuff that Jesus is saying. Mummy, stop talking. Yeah, there you go, thank you. Right, so not even the finest king looked as good as a flower. They don't worry. Why are you worrying? Jesus asked this question. He went on to say, he went on to say, if that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown in the fire, I love this bit. Will he not much more clothe you? And look at what he said. Say this. You of little faith.
You have a little faith.
There you go. So you of little faith. Now get this. What he's saying is, even if you only have a little faith. Do this, little faith. Okay. Even if you only have a little faith, he's still looking out for you. You don't need to have a lot of faith for God to provide a lot for you. He already is doing. The only thing you have to have a lot of faith for is to stop worrying about it. That's it. God doesn't reward you with lots and lots of things for your faith. He's already given you lots of things for your faith. Even the tiny amount you've got. What giving him a bigger amount of faith does is it means you stop worrying. So let's move on. He said, so do not worry, saying, what will we eat? Or what will we drink? Or what will we wear? Stay with me. Right? So do not worry. That's the thing. Do not worry. Here's the problem. That's... Okay. Say do not worry.
Do not worry.
You've been told. Right. But here's the problem. That's only true if God existing is true. You see, if God doesn't exist, Jesus isn't there, and all this lot, you can just kind of make it up, then none of this matters. So my whole little speech there about do not worry, meaningless. This is only true if God is true. And so if God doesn't exist, you better worry, because there's no plan for anything. But we've got to ask the question, which do you believe in theory? Now, okay, a lot of people, in theory, they believe in God, and maybe that's you. I've got a shadow. A lot of people, they don't believe in theory. No, I'll tell you what to say in a bit, okay? I think I've made a terrible mistake. Anyway, right, okay. So which do you believe in theory? In theory, if I was to ask you, which do you believe? You're just going to come up with, well, I think this. But let me ask you another question. Which do you believe in practice? When it really comes down to it, which do you believe? Like, I could ask this question to Christians, but first I'm going to ask to non-believers. Okay, if you know an atheist, maybe you're not sure about what you believe yourself. I bet you still think, oh, it's all going to work out in the end. Where are you getting that faith from? Well, you know, good people deserve good things to happen. Really? No, that sounds like some rules to life there. Who are you getting them from? Well, you know, you'll find the right person in the end. Just keep plugging on. Really? You're sure about that? We are all fairly sure of things we shouldn't be sure of. If the life in the universe and everything in it is random, you can't be sure of anything. If you have any confidence in the future, you have confidence that something is going to make it okay. Even atheists believe in practice. You say you don't. In theory, you don't believe. But when it comes down to it, actually, you practice belief quite a bit. Robin, oh, come in. Well, how about all the other guys? How about all the Christians? How many of you, in just this last week, have worried about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, who you're going to meet? How many of you worry about the job or the promotion, or is that person the right person for me? Or how many of you are worrying about exams? Come on, right? See, people who don't believe often live like they do, or people who do believe often live like they don't. Well, do me a favour. Okay, go and sit with your mum. I'm going to call you back up in a bit, okay? Promise. All right? Give him a round of applause. Go on. Right, I've got nothing for you to say just yet. I've got a bit for you later, promise. Okay, so, which do you believe in theory? Well, which do you believe in practice? And here's a question. Which one really counts? Who's to say Stalin was right, was wrong, and you're right? Who's to say that? I mean, unless you've got a third party who you're both responsible to, right and wrong is just a matter of opinion. So if you're going to say to anyone, that's wrong, then you are assuming that there is a mind, because it can't be things. This speaker doesn't care whether you kill me or not. Things don't come up with morality. Only minds can even understand it. So it can only come from a mind, or, as C.S. Lewis put it, something more like a mind than it is like anything else. And it has to be above us. So the minute you invoke right and wrong, you're assuming there's a mind that it came from. We all believe in God. We all believe in God if we believe in purpose. I mean, at the end of the day, this TV can't do anything on purpose. Would you agree? I'll say that again. This TV can't do anything on purpose. Would you agree? This guitar can't do anything on purpose. Would you agree? It's a stupid question to even ask. Of course it can't. You can only do something on purpose if you can make a decision. So how does the universe have any purpose? How does anything in the universe have any purpose? The minute you believe that there's any purpose for your life, there's any reason for your existence, there's anything you're supposed to achieve, there's any supposed to about anything at all, you're assuming there's a mind behind it. So if there's a mind behind you, you have a purpose. If you believe that you have purpose, even if you haven't given a name to it, even if you haven't followed that thought through to where it logically leads, you are assuming in your subconscious that something intends for me to do this. Something intends for me to find a partner. Something intends for good things to happen to good people. And that's the way it's supposed to be. You're assuming it all the time. We all assume that God's there, even if we don't realize it. We all believe in God. You believe in God if you believe in free will. Right, so this is going to be a little bit complicated, so follow with me, okay? Right, your heart does not have a mind of its own. It doesn't have free will. Your toes, let's say, they don't have a mind of their own, so they don't have free will. It would be really weird if they did. Can you imagine? Every time you go for a walk, your toes are arguing about which way they want to go. Oh, good grief. It would be bedlam. But your toes don't have a mind of their own. Your knees don't have a mind of their own. None of your body parts can make decisions. Except this one, right? Well, actually, no. You see, I'm talking about evolutionary biologists who will tell you this. This, your brain, well, it doesn't have free will. Your brain is a computer. It's a processor. That's all it does. It takes data, it processes it, and it gives you outputs. That's it. It processes data. That's its job. Think of it like a games console. You've got a chip there. You've got a processor. That's the brain. It takes all the input, all the data. It processes it, and then it gives you the output that it's been programmed to give you. Right? But that's not making any decisions. You are. You're playing it. You're telling it what to do, and it's processing how to do it. That's it. If your processor, if your games console is your brain, then you, the player, you are what we call the mind. And the mind is not physical. Like, I can't take your brain out of your body. I'm not going to try that, don't worry. I can't take your brain out of your body, put it in someone else, and then you're just suddenly over there. If you was to die of oxygen starvation, again, we're not going to do that, don't worry, and no one found your body, and then we found you a week later, you're perfectly intact. You just run out of oxygen. We can't put oxygen back in you and, get out the paddles and, yell and do all this, staying alive and all, put new nutrients in you and carbohydrates and protein and stuff, and you come back to life. Even if your body is fully functional, something's gone and it's not coming back. There is a disembodied and non-physical part to you. We tend to call it a mind. Some people might say the soul and mean the same thing, or spirit or whatever. You could argue they're interchangeable terms. Guarantee I'll get into trouble for saying that because not everybody will agree with that. But let's just say that there's a part of you that's not physical. That's the part that makes decisions. Even a biologist will tell you your brain doesn't come up with actions. It just reacts the way it's programmed. Do you know the way you were programmed? By your genes. Your genes tell your brain how to respond to the input that you see. So all you're doing is reacting. If you don't have a mind, if you just have a brain, you don't act. You just react the way your genes programmed you to. And your parents just acted the way their genes programmed them to. And you can go right the way back, every generation of life that's ever existed, all the way to the very first life that ever existed. All we've done is inherit genes that have programmed us how to react. That's it. If there's no God, there's no mind. If there's no mind, you have no free will. You're just reacting. But we all believe we have free will. We all believe we have not just a brain, but a mind. Therefore, we all believe there's something more than the physical to us. And the only explanation for that is a big mind made it happen. If you believe that you have free will, by extension, you automatically believe that something gave it to you beyond the physical. You might not call it God, you might not use the word, but we all believe in God. We all believe in God if we believe in intelligence. Now then, this is maybe even a little more difficult to explain. So stay with me. Okay, right. If your brain is just a computer that is doing what it was programmed to do by hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, then all it's doing is doing what it's programmed to do. But your brain wasn't programmed to be intelligent. Evolution did not make it so that a thinking, truth-seeking brain would come out. No, evolution gives you a survival brain. Your brain is there to make you survive. And if believing a lie makes you survive, your brain will believe it. If you believe in just evolution by itself with no mind to say what should come out of the process, then all you've got is a randomly produced organ that's just making you survive. You wouldn't know the truth if you saw it. Which means, unfortunately, any brain that says God doesn't exist is proposing a solution where it can't come up with an intelligent thought of its own. There you go. Yeah. The only way your brain acts in the way you think it does is if it's more than just an evolved mechanism. It has to be something that was intended to think. And where you have an intention, you have a mind that intended it. If you believe that you're intelligent, it is logically improbable that something to make it intelligent didn't come along. If you believe you're intelligent, you believe in God. You might not give it the name. You might not go to church. You might not be religious. But you assume there's something there that gives you the power not just to react, but to think freely and to think at all. Now then, are you ready for the really confusing one? This is a bit of a mind scrambler, and I mean that, okay? We all believe in God if we believe in existing. Right, okay. Have you ever won the lottery? Right, okay. Right, that's like lottery at all. I guess no one's ever won the jackpot. Right, imagine if you won the jackpot every day for the rest of your life. I mean, what would the odds be? I mean, some bookies actually came up with the odds. Get this, right? The odds of you winning the lottery are the same as they would put on Elvis not only being alive, but crash landing a UFO into the head of the Loch Ness Monster. Yes, that was an actual bookmaker gave those odds. It's the same as you winning the lottery. Hey, there it is. So imagine what the odds are of you winning the lottery every hour of the day, every day, for the rest of your life. What would the odds be on that? Well, pretty bad, right? Well, here's the thing. According to, physics, and I won't go into the name of it, the odds of the universe being able to support life is way worse odds than that. I mean really bad, right? It's 1 in 10 followed by 1,000 billion zeros. That's the odds of the universe being able to support life. You don't believe in luck to that extent. Therefore, you have to believe that it's got to be something else. And that's just to give you a universe. Then you've got all the galaxies and the planets and the stars and crashing and colliding and creating new ones over and over again until one planet comes along that actually has all the right ingredients just by chance, and that's a whole other bunch of chance, to actually allow life to exist. And what's the chances of that life surviving and actually having offspring and actually going through to another form of life and another form of life? The odds get worse and worse and worse on you go. And then humanity comes along, and every generation of humanity and the exact right kind of people to exist to create your ancestors, who had to be the right kind of ancestors to create their children and their children and their children and your parents and you. Can you figure the odds? It's mind-blowing. Well, this guy called Ludwig Boltzmann, right, there you go, there's a name for you, he came up with the odds. Now, this guy did the statistics on which we understand the universe. So our current understanding of the universe was based on this guy's maths. He also came up with a problem. That is so fantastically unlikely, it is statistically impossible. And you would say, well, but John, here, it must have happened. Well, not so much. You see, he said it's more likely that all those things coming into existence and forming something else and coming into existence again and again. It's actually more likely that a living, functioning brain would just come into existence by itself. That's more likely. And you're thinking, oh, but John, I've got a brain floating in space. Give me a minute. You see, he said it's not only more likely, it's infinitely more likely. It would happen an infinite number of times before galaxies and planets and stars and life and you would form that way. That is so unlikely, it's more unlikely that an infinite number of times some random brain would just into existence, float around for a bit and then disappear. In fact, because every kind of brain conceivable, because there's an infinite number of them, it would even be brains with memories. That's more likely than you existed in the way you think you exist. I'm not done yet. Because it would be every kind of conceivable brain, it would be a brain with every different kind of memory. It would just pop up one after another after another. This memory, those memories, and eventually, your memories. According to the Boltzmann brain problem, which is what it's called, you are infinitely, statistically, more likely to be a brain floating in space that thinks it's you. That is massively more likely than you existing. Your odds of existing are that bad. You don't believe in luck to that extent. So if I was to give you the choice between you're that lucky sensible option is someone wanted that to be. In fact, there's no logical way you can sensibly say that you exist. If you exist at all, it's either statistically impossible or you believe in God. Any sensible mind, anybody who thinks this stuff through, you've got no option. If you believe in any of these things, you are assuming that God exists. Sometimes actively, when you say, oh, it all turned out right, well, that's wrong, because you assume it. Sometimes you don't think about this stuff, but if you think about it, you can only come to one conclusion. But a lot of this, you do think about it all the time, and you just assume that life is supposed to work out that way without thinking who's supposed to. It's a bit of a problem, isn't it? So here's the thing. All of this is not a problem if God does not exist. Don't worry about it. There is no morality. So do what you like. You can't possibly do anything good with your life because there is no good. And anything that anyone does to you can't be wrong. So hey, there it is. There's no purpose. Nothing that you're going to do is of any purpose anyway. You've got no reason to be, no reason to do anything. But you don't believe this. You believe you have free will. You believe you have purpose. You believe that morality is real. You believe that you're intelligent and you believe that you exist. Then God must be true. In that case, what are you worrying about? If all of this is true, if any of this is true, then Jesus really is God in a heart, and he really did say what he said, which was, I'm on the case, I'm looking after you. Stop stressing. If you believe God is true, and you've got every good reason to do so, and even atheists do, even if they don't know it, stop worrying. Because as Jesus said, by worrying, you can't add even a single hour to your life. He was right then, he was right about everything else. So, stop being inconsistent. Either, if you don't believe in God, worry. Don't start thinking that everything's going to work out. Don't start thinking that you deserve good things, because all of that is not true if God doesn't exist. Or if you think that all of this is true, that you deserve good things to happen to you. Good things should happen to good people. There's a reason for you being here. There's something you're supposed to achieve with your life. You are really a thinking, intelligent human being. If you think that, then stop being inconsistent and saying you don't believe in the reason for it. But if you do believe in God, if you believe in God, stop being inconsistent with that belief. Stop worrying. Because worry is practicing the belief that a God who loves you doesn't exist. It's practical atheism. That's what worry is. It doesn't matter what you say you believe. It doesn't matter what you think you believe. In practice, you're practicing disbelief. So let go of the worry. Jesus himself said to do that. But also, worry's stupid. It really is. On the basis of what I've just said to you, on the basis of those arguments I've given them, that's just 5 words. Just remember those 5 words. Easy 5 things to ask someone who says, I don't believe in God. Well, what do you believe in? Do you believe in these 5 things? I'll remind you at the end if you want to come and ask about them. But if they're true, and God's true, then worry is just stupid. Like, for instance, let me ask you this. If someone was to say, we're the accidental byproduct of natural forces, we're just matter going about its business, therefore we should love one another. That's a stupid idea. That's what we could call a logic fail. Right, did I make you jump? Good. Okay, this is coming again. Right, so it's logic fail, absolutely. So how about this one? Right, I don't believe in God, but what you're doing is wrong. Says who? Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Logic fail. That's not working well, is it? Right, okay. Right, yes. Okay. The sound man's walked away from the volume control. So it's going to be that loud for the rest of the night. Okay, right. I believe God exists, but I worry I'll be single forever. Guess what? It's exactly the same as what we've just been saying. Sorry. Logic fail. You're worrying. Don't worry. God said don't worry. If you believe God exists, stop worrying that you're going to be single forever. Don't worry, logic failures. Right, okay. I believe I exist, but I'm worried about my career choices. If you believe you exist, then you believe God exists. So don't worry. What are you worried about your career choices for? Everybody say logic fail on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're getting it. Right, okay, right. I believe in God, but I don't believe I'll hear him speak. Guess what? He said you would. So you know what? Logic fail. Right, you need to start believing that God's going to speak to you and stop worrying that he won't. He wants to speak to you. Not just other people, and they go and tell you what he said. No, he wants to speak to you. Okay, God's real, but miracles don't happen. I'm not even going to bother arguing that one. That's just obvious, isn't it? Everybody on 3. 1, 2, 3. Logic fail. Yeah, that's stupid, isn't it? Good grief. And yet, I wonder how many Christians worry about those exact same things. God is perfectly real, but I just don't think he wants to talk to me. Logic fail. Stupid. It's worrying. It's stupid. I believe that God heals people, but I don't think he wants to do that through me. No. Logic fail. God heals people, but I don't think he'd do it through me. This is a worry that a lot of Christians have. I'm not even going to try because it might not work. I'm not even going to bother trying to heal people in God's name because, what if it goes wrong? What if I make it worse? Guess what? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's nonsense. You need to stop worrying about this. Here's the thing. God is very, very real. And you can go on the arguments. You can look at the logic. It'll support that case every time. Or you can ask him to speak to you and not worry about whether or not he will. Because he will. You can see God in action yourself. Not other people. Remember, there are no sacred men anymore. We talked about this. There are no sacred men. The guy on the platform is no more holy than you. That's not what holiness is. So it's not for us guys to do church for you. It's not for special people wearing robes and wigs and whatever else they're wearing to do all the God stuff. No. God wants to heal through you. I'm going to say a little bit more on that, but for now, watch this video. Okay, theory's great, but practice is better. Don't just believe in God in theory. How about believing in him in practice? It's easy to do that by not worrying, but that's always going to be hard if your knowledge of God is theoretical. So how about we make it practical? So what we're going to do in April, every week for 4 weeks, we've got special guys coming in who are going to talk you through this, explain stuff, and then actually do some workshops. Just be a few people in a room. It's really easy. It's really, really easy. All you got to do is not let fear hold you back. You want to give it a go? If you've got an open mind and you've been looking at this thinking, that makes sense. What you're saying, that makes sense. Okay. Well, put your money where your mouth is. Overcome a little bit of doubt. Just take a little step. That's what we talked about. Just a little step. And let's see. So this is going to be in April. Come along and try this. Give this a go. Because honestly, nothing tells you something's real better than experiencing it yourself. Here's the thing. Faith or fear. One will rule your life. As those guys playing the game on Friday found out, being afraid of something doesn't take you away from the danger of it. So stop being afraid of things, thinking it's going to keep you safe. It's not. All it's going to do is remove opportunities. God said, don't worry. Don't worry. Stop worrying about things. It's practicing a belief that he's not there. So stop. Start practicing the belief that he is by not worrying. Take a step and give things a go. We're going to go further with this. Next week, we're going to take it a stage further, and then Paul's going to be our guest speaker in 2 weeks. Woo! We can do better than that. Paul's going to be our guest speaker in 2 weeks. Always one, Tom. There's always one, isn't there? But guys, if you remember nothing else from today, just remember this. Fear or faith. If one doesn't rule your life, the other will. And I'm going to leave it there. So I hope you've had a good time tonight. If you want to argue with me about any of this stuff, I'm sure somebody does, then come and see me afterwards. But that's about it for now, guys. Remember those 5 sentences. If you want me to remind you of them, that's great. This talk is on YouTube, like they all are. And the slides are on the app, so you can find these slides. You just watch the app, and there they all are, so you can remind yourself of that, okay? That's it for now. I'm not going to say any more. Thank you for joining us tonight. I want to give another big thank you to Mikey, who sang. Woo! Yeah. And also, they never get mentioned, so Laura, Karsten, and Alana, thank you for doing the back desk for us tonight. Thank you, Phil, for filming, and thank you, Amy, for the photography. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I love what we're doing. Thanks for being a part of it, and I hope you've had a good time. And thanks for listening.